Few days ago, I said we would be introducing some top 5s to the channel, and you know what, here we are. So let's discuss my top 5 COD Zombies maps ever, including the non-Treyarch ones if they're necessary. These types of videos are going to be 70% shitposting and 30% objective discussion, and it's just some nerd's opinion on the internet, so let's keep things civil in the comments, gamers. Comment your top 5 maps, leave a like on the videos, try to reach, I don't know, 1500, and try to make my soul happy, and let's begin. Number 5 should come as a shock to absolutely no one who watched the last challenge video. Zombies in Spaceland is one of the greatest maps ever created. I will fully admit that none of the characters interest me other than David Hasselhoff with his dance moves and massive horsecock. But it speaks volumes to the map's atmosphere and absolute commitment to just being so different to everything else still makes it an all-time great. When Spaceland launched, it felt like a breath of fresh air with its goofy bullshit after Black Ops 3's super serious universe-saving storyline. That combined with the familiar feel of 4 wonder weapons and an easy to figure out design is insanely satisfying. All of that combined with Director's Cut mode just being the absolute greatest Easter egg reward of all time means that even going back nowadays, you can jump in and skip the setup if you choose to just make your life easier. I know that sometimes when I go back to play older maps, I just go, I gotta do the setup, I just can't be bothered with it, but with Director's Cut, if you do have it, you can skip all of that if you really want to, and that's just really nice. Granted, maps like Attack of the Radioactive Thing make me want to commit the not alive anymore, but Zombies in Spaceland is an absolute treasure. It continues to age like fine wine, and I think it will going forward. I played it a few days ago, like I said, for a challenge video, and it still holds up. Number 4 on my list is Black Ops 4's launch map known as 9. This either makes a ton of sense to you, or you're absolutely just clueless why I'm putting this on here, depending on which side of the great Black Ops 4 debate that you sit on. My argument to the haters here is that 9 is a map about a gladiator death cult who controls a horde of zombies, and you need to fight your way through them to fight multiple giant zombie elephants in a boss fight before getting your head sliced off. Every single word of that sentence screams metal as fuck. I can feel the hair growing on my chest and I have a sudden urge to buy some black eyeliner, but aside from that, this map shares some similarities in, Spaceland's design and why I like it. There are absolutely no maps even remotely like this one in terms of gameplay philosophy, the layout of it, the location, and the general vibes that you get when you're walking around the map. My biggest complaint is that on high rounds you are fighting 80% boss zombies or elemental zombies, which makes it annoying, but everything from round 1 to about 30 hits harder than you beat your meat. Along with that, the story had a few hiccups in the beginning and it had a slow start, let's be honest here. Chaos didn't get off to a great beginning, but looking back at it, I think if Black Ops 4 had launched with only 2 maps and the crashing issues hadn't been there, then the game as a whole and 9 would be looked at much more favorably. There's also all of the unique areas for the different Norse gods, and those are just incredible. The crowd watching you as you're fighting on through the rounds against all of these zombies just makes it feel as if you were really in a fight to survive and get out, and as if there's real stakes going on here rather than just being in some isolated little bubble. That is a complaint that I do have with some zombies maps, is that you don't really ever feel like you're actually around anyone or that there's a world outside of just the area that you're training around in, but with 9 you actually kind of do. Number 3 is a much more normie pick than the last few that we talked about, and that is Origins, and more specifically the Black Ops 2 version of Origins. But at this point, what hasn't been said about Origins? It's got a fantastic Easter egg that follows the iconic Vorkuta steps, the staffs are all great besides the lightning staff, fuck that thing. There's also the Panzer Soldat, and even though I would rather get cock and ball tortured than fight multiple of them in a co-op game, I couldn't imagine Origins without it. Atmosphere is on point, and on top of that, it's a map that almost everyone universally loves, and that's an incredibly rare thing in the zombies community. After 8 years of constant play though, it is starting to show its age a little bit with regards to graphics and gameplay, but I still find it to be an absolute joy whenever I'm playing it for some casual fun. I know literally everything about that map by just like the back of my hand. I could tell you every single little bit of that map, and I can walk through it with an absolutely vivid just visual in my mind and it's incredible. But the reason that I'm not talking about the Chronicles version of this map is because I personally see that one as a downgrade. The mud is slower than a fat kid swimming in donkey shit, and the map plays quite differently, I feel, because of the additions of the Pack-a-Punch abilities and 3 hit downs without Juggernog. Those I think make it different enough that I feel like a separation is warranted between the two. If you've ever played both of them, then you most likely know what I'm talking about. They play fairly differently than each other. Number 2 will also be a shocker to some of the Black Ops 4 haters out there, but I kid you not when I say I've never met anyone who has ever said that this is an outright bad map. Let me introduce you to Ancient Evil, one of the greatest zombies experiences in history. It's an ancient Greek city sunken underground that is exploding with personality, vibrant colors, and some of the most fun weapons ever. Every single area in the map has a purpose and is used for an Easter egg step, upgrading your gauntlets, or is just a decent training area. There's absolutely no wasted space, and it all somehow manages to look beautiful and fit within the theme of the map. Then once you've seen and done everything on the main portion of the map, you can summon a giant fucking Pegasus to fly you through a waterfall and into the Pack-a-Punch area. When you land, there's a giant hole into the center of the earth surrounded by a giant stone snake that's spewing acid. Yes, fucking please, give me more of this, daddy. Oh, and you thought you were just gonna ride the Pegasus and that was cool? Well, how about you forge Gandalf's fucking staff and you slam it into the ground to summon a Pegasus that shoots lightning bolts at the zombies? And it even one-hit kills forever, and it seems to just last ages. I don't care if it's broken and overpowered as fuck. That's some good shit right there, and I want it to be shot into my veins right fucking now. Also, as you can tell, I'm like a 3rd grader. I don't care if it looks cool and it's fun, I'm going to have fun. I don't care. You also have the Greek-themed god gauntlets with specific upgrade quests that tell a little story of their own, like the origin staffs. And just fuck, I'm tripping over my words because I just love this map so much. The Giganese sucks admittedly, and there's no real strategies that utilize training in Black Ops 4 high rounds, which means I don't get to see much of the map after round 35. But despite that, there are very few detractions for me about this map overall. It just sucks that you can't play the map without buying the entire Black Ops pass on Black Ops 4. I just hate that so much. I really wish you could just buy it on your own because I would totally recommend it. Despite all my love for it, I mentally go back and forth between this and the number 1 map frequently. Just in my head, I just go back and forth constantly, and if you ever ask me, I'll probably say one or the other. But before the final map on this list, let's do some honorable mentions or talk about the obvious maps that didn't make the list here. Mob of the Dead is one of the greatest storyline and atmosphere maps ever made, but I like high rounds, and in throwing the axe at the zombies just over and over again while running in circles around the cafeteria just doesn't do it for me. That combined with the 2-hit down system make the setup a bit of a chore if you want to do it optimally. Buried is another map that I love to death, but the fact that sitting in the Juggernog alley is really the only viable round 30 plus strategy is frustrating because it's a gorgeous map and that keeps me from seeing it. I want to be able to see more of it, but I can only see a couple of walls and straight ahead. The Easter egg on both the Maxis and Richthofen side can also be frustrating at times, and that holds back a little bit, but I still love Buried. Lastly, Der Eisendrache. To me, it's a little bit less of an exciting version of Origins. Maybe it's because we had Origins and then 2 maps later we had DE, but my point still stands of them being very similar, and I just personally prefer Origins over it. That doesn't mean that DE is a bad map whatsoever, but I personally just don't have it in my top 5 because I have a lot of maps like Origins in my top 5. But with all that said, finally we can make it to number 1 on this list, and it's my pick for the best zombies map ever made, and that is Shadows of Evil. I will fully admit, this is not a casual friendly map at all. There are a lot of different things to learn and master over time that most players who aren't hardcore zombies fans will just turn away from. Despite that though, I just want to fuck Shadows of Evil. We have a star-studded cast with Kiefer Sutherland, Ron Perlman, Heather Graham, and Neil McDonough, and just it's so great to have a good celebrity cast. The setting of Morgue City is absolutely stunning, and it makes you feel as if people really did live here before a zombie outbreak tore it all apart. I said this before a few entries ago, but that really makes a difference for me. The music all throughout is also an absolute banger with a lot of blues, saxophone, and almost some old western sounding music, but it just immerses you so much more into what's really going on within this map. But all of this wrapped up into one, combined with the Ether story storyline, taking 4 hits of LSD, smoking some crack, having a near-death experience, and then celebrating not dying by smashing itself with a full can of beer just ramps everything that you're feeling up till like 85. That feeling was also just exacerbated when Black Ops 3 first launched. The general feeling of people playing this map in the hardcore community at least was pretty positive, and because it's the map that comes with the game, most people that you will talk to have probably played it. That means that you can talk with your friends about your experiences and theirs on Shadows of Evil, and that's not always the case, especially with maps in this list. I mean, look at hidden gems like Ancient Evil. I can guarantee you 50% of people watching this video have never played Ancient Evil, but probably 90% of you guys have played Shadows of Evil, and that adds to its legend and its aura for me. It just makes it something that you can talk about outside of the game and experience outside of just the game. It really is just such a good thing to have that we have a great launch map. Back to gameplay though, the 4 separate main areas feel unique to the characters that they're designed to them. The hentai gun is one of my favorite wonder weapons of all time, and the Apothicon sword is just straight up a fucking beast. So if we take all of that into account, plus the Margwa being thick as a bowl of oatmeal, makes Shadows of Evil the greatest zombies map ever made in my opinion. Sorry Chaos Like Silencer, this map deserves better than 30 fucking 5th or whatever you placed in your rankings. No, Kino Der Toten is not the #1 zombies map of all time. Jesus Christ, that video gave me a headache. But if this video did not give you a headache, then you should totally like it. And while you're down there, just give me a like, because you should definitely be doing that. You can tell me in the comments, what are your top 5 favorite maps? And did you agree with mine? I think the comments on this video are gonna be quite spicy. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy. I hope you guys liked the format a little bit. I'm gonna be mixing these in with the challenge videos, hopefully. Hopefully you guys, yeah, didn't have a terrible time. Love you guys, bye-bye.